Hello and welcome to another week. Now, last week was an amazing week, and like we always say, our analyses are usually spot on. We told you guys last week the price was going to most likely come down to the zone, and as you can see, price came down to that point, but gold was somehow trying to play with us, right? So, price came down to this point, and then we began to see rejections from here. It pushed up, and it looked as though price wanted to keep going up, but then I expected that it might still come back down, and what happened, price came back down, right, and then began to reject up again. Now I got in on a trade at these 2 points, right, but I didn't quite stay because what I really wanted was for price to actually come down into this particular zone, right, or even lower, right, but I think I understand what it was trying to do. Now we're in a new week, so what are we going to be looking out for on the charts? Now remember, we're still holding a couple of trades, right? So this new week, what I'm going to be looking out for. Now let's start from the higher time frame. Let's start from the monthly, right? Let's remove this for now. Let's go to the monthly. Let's see what we're saying. I hope this is recording. Let it not repeat the same thing it did to me the last time. So guys, hope your trading was good last week. This new week, just hope for the best and make sure you watch this video to the end. Gold is still very much bullish, right? And this new week we're entering is NFP week, so we have to actually trade with caution. I found out that during NFP week, prices can be somewhat unstable and not move the way it's supposed to move. But still going to be a good week, right? I'm going to be careful. So in this new week, we're going to be looking for buying opportunities. But the question now will be, where would we be looking for buys from? Definitely, like we already know, gold is still very much bullish. So we can go down to the weekly. Let's see what we're going to be looking out for. Now in the new week, in this week, look, there's the weekly chart. You can see this massive rejection, this weekly massive rejection, right? This red candle. So what can we expect? We can expect that price would come back down to, now there are two things also, about two things I think could happen, two levels the price can come down to, right, which is this level, which if you zoom in you'll see that that's a fair value gap, right? There's a fair value gap there, a weekly fair value gap over here, and there's another one down here that we've already drawn. So let's draw the second one. So you can see there's a fair value gap over there. So we're going to be expecting price to come down into this point and probably react from there, or might even come down lower, right? Looking at this kind of rejection, what do I think might happen? I think price might actually come down lower into the second fair value gap. I don't think this first one might hold. Yes, definitely. What I think would happen here is that we might see some rejections from here, right? And if that rejection that we see keeps going up and takes us up, fine. But I think that even if we see some rejections here, price might most likely come back down into the second place, right? Because of how massive this rejection is. So we need to go to the daily to now see what we can expect. Now, definitely people are going to be looking for sales, right? But still we're going to have to look for buys. Now, if you're looking for sales, then you would have to wait for price to move up, right? To somewhere around here, the 50% of this particular candle, right? So when price moves up to that point, then you can now be looking for sales, or some people might look for sales from somewhere around here, 3357, right, or 3416 level. But I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to be strictly looking for buys, because like I always say, if the markets are bullish, then we need to stick to looking for buying opportunities, right? Because the more you stick to buying opportunities, the higher chances of getting on a winning trade. But if you keep looking for selling opportunities, then chances are, or rather the chances of you getting on a losing trade will be high, right? So let's go down to the daily. Let's see what we're seeing. Now this is the daily. Good. As you can see, these bold candles, guys. So on the daily, we're going to be looking for price to come back down. Like I just already said, we've drawn this fair value gap into this red box, this first red box, right? Price is going to come down into that point and then tap it, and probably would see rejection from there. But would that rejection hold? We are not sure. We're not certain. It might hold, but it might not hold, right? So once price gets into that point and we see rejections, we're going to definitely get in on the trade. But if we get on the trade and it doesn't hold and it comes back down, then we'll be expecting it to come down to this second point here, right? Which, so the first level that we're looking at is 3260, and if you see, it coincides exactly with this top resistance that we had over here that now has become a support, right? So as you can see, price seems to be respecting this place. Price has come down close, rejected up, came down, rejected again. So if price comes down there, we're definitely going to go in on a buy from that point. But we're going to go to a lower time frame to see what it looks like. And if this level rejects up, but then price decides to drop again and breaks this level, then we're going to be looking for buying opportunities from around this zone, which, as you can see, it's also going to be coinciding with this support, which was once a resistance, right? And that actually makes sense. I really love that to happen, right? I really love that to happen. Now if price gets into this point, definitely we're going to see rejections from here, definitely, right? And if you look at it, let's draw this, look at the Fibonacci. I believe that is going to be a 50% level. All right, okay, yeah, this top first place is around the 50% level, the second place around the 61.8, right? So that's very good. So we might see rejections from this first point. Price might even come down just a little bit lower into this 50% level, and then we might begin to see our rejections from there, right? So let me put a line there, so we'll take note of that. Good. So price might come into this 50% level area, which is very close to this support level area, right inside this fair value gap. So we might see rejections, which you can see that's like touching on this demand area, right? So if we see rejections from there, we're going to ride it up. But if price decides to come lower into this point, then it's still good. Okay, so it's still good. Like we said, that's the 61.8 level area, right? Good. So those are the two levels we're going to be looking for buys from. Now you can see this massive rejection. So price might actually, what will happen now in this new week is that we might see price go up a little. And that's why I wished I stayed on this trade, right? You might see price go up a little and then reject back downwards. Or price might just drop straight up, and then from there we will start seeing the rejections upwards, right? So I need to be fast with this. So let's go down to the 4-hour. Let's see what it looks like. So this is the 4-hour. You can see this massive bull candle, green candle that's pushing upwards, right? So like I said already, we're going to be looking for price to, where's my drawing candle? Where's it? Where are you hiding? All right, we're going to be looking for price to come back down into this area, and then if price rejects back up, good, then we're going to hold it. But if price decides to come lower into this area, that's still good, right? Then we can get good entries from this point and then hold it up. All right, so that's why I think it might even come down just a little bit more. So something of this nature, right? So if we see something of this nature, that's still good. But if we see a good rejection from here and price seems to respect this level, okay, if price respects this level, then we're going to get in on a trade from somewhere around this point, the first point. So this is exactly what we're going to be looking out for. Like I said, also another scenario, possible scenario, is that price could just continue to go up, right? Price could just continue to go up, break higher, and then before you know it, price is going up. All right, that's also possible. If we see that happen, we're definitely going to follow that trend up, and we're going to go on the buys because there's a lot of room up here, right? A lot of room. So let's just see how everything plays out. But these are the two levels we're going to be looking for. We're going to be looking for buys from 3245 level, and the second level we're going to be looking for buys from will be 3169 or 3170 level, right? Those are the two levels to keep our eyes on. So next week is going to be an amazing week, definitely, but we have to trade with caution, right? Because remember, it's an NFP week. So make sure, guys, you subscribe to this channel and you like this video and you share it. We're giving you guys good content here that's going to help your trading. So let's see how it goes. Hopefully I'm going to start going live and trading live with you guys. We're still trying to see how we can build the channel up and working on some things. So that's it, guys. Have a wonderful trading week. Peace out.